this 10 to 12 minute class on hip openers. If you have tight hips, before you start exercising, it's really important to give them a nice stretch. So we'll do a few stretches here that will help complement the hip opening and allow you to increase your mobility in the hip joints. So we're going to start by coming into staff pose. Extend those legs straight, nice tall spine. We're going to bend that right knee and take that right ankle onto that left thigh. Now, if you're really tight, that knee may be quite up towards the ceiling, but as you start to gain flexibility and mobility in through that hip, your knee is going to start to come to more parallel to the mat. You can take a block at any height and use it to press into to give you some leverage, or you can simply let gravity do its thing and gently encourage that right hand onto that knee. So again, we're going to start here, and again, allow that hip to start to soften, start to open up. You want to make sure that you hold your stretches about 20 seconds before you change sides, before you change to a different pose. So it's really critical that we allow those muscle fibers to relax, to start to open up, and find a new stretch point that they feel comfortable with. From here, we're going to come into a forward fold. Now you've got some options. If you have a strap, you're welcome to take your strap onto your left foot and gently encourage the spine a little closer towards those legs. If you don't want to use a strap, you don't have to. Again, we don't force anything. Take a big breath in, get tall through the spine, and then on the exhale, we start to soften towards that thigh. So here, we're encouraging that knee. We're keeping the sit bones on the mat, and we're extending through the spine and softening over that leg. And again, you'll hold for about 20 seconds. And then come on up, release that. So we're shortening things a little bit just so I can get more stretches in for you. Next, we're going to come into half calf facing. So we're going to take that right knee over the left. Now, if that is too much of a stretch, you can remain in the previous pose. Again, if that's too much of a stretch, you've got a block, or what's even nicer is a blanket that's rolled up, or a towel that's rolled up, or a small pillow. So it's a little softer and a little bit more forgiving than a block. But again, the goal is to try and keep those knees stacked. If you're particularly open, you're allowed to bend that left knee as well. So again, we're stacking both knees on top of each other. And then we're going to start to send those ankles a little further away. It's a big, deep stretch, so don't get discouraged if this is a little too much. Again, we're going to get nice and tall through the spine, and then on the exhale, start to soften as we keep the sit bones grounded and extend the chest towards the knees, and then just let everything go. You should feel a nice juicy stretch into that right glute. We'll hold here. Again, holding 20 seconds at least. For the purpose of this video, we're just shortening that time just a little bit. Come on up, nice tall stacked spine. From here, we're going to go into a pose called fire log. So what we're going to do is take that left knee in line with the hip, and that left shin is parallel to the short edge of the mat. We're then going to take that right ankle onto that left knee. Again, this is a very deep hip stretch. You can take a block, or again, or a blanket or a towel in between those knees, but the goal eventually is to have the ankle on the knee and the knee on the ankle with the shins parallel to the short edge of the mat. Taking the stretch a little deeper if you'd like. Again, you get nice and tall, but don't let those sit bones leave the mat. We encourage the chest towards the legs, and again, we soften. So find that position that just feels right, and then linger with that stretch. Now, each of these stretches is a little bit progressively deeper in the hips, so you may want to linger on that first stretch for a few days before you attempt some of these other stretches. Choice is yours. Listen to your body. It'll tell you where it wants to go, and just make sure if you heed its advice, you'll stay safe. So we're going to switch it up opposite side. We're going to take that left ankle onto that right thigh, just above the knee. Again, encouraging that left knee. You'll notice that one side is going to be a lot more forgiving than the other, a lot more open. That's natural. We're not very symmetrical creatures. So again, nice and tall through the spine. Inhale, get tall. And on the exhale, we soften. So again, don't forget you've got your strap to use on that right arch of the foot, should you decide to. And then again, let everything soften. We'll linger. And again, we're just shortening everything just a little bit. We're going to take that left knee over the right. You may want to stay here, half cow facing. If you want to come into full cow facing, hinge at that right knee, stacking the knees, If you're ready for a little bit more, we send those feet a little further apart. Again, inhale tall through the spine, exhale soften. Bringing the chest towards the legs, keeping the sit bones grounded, and feeling extension through the spine as we let everything just linger. And pay attention here to which side's a little bit more open, which side's a little more constricted for you. Very telling on how we transport our bodies throughout the day, maybe how we stand. And come on back up. Again, shortening the length. You'll want to do these a little bit longer. Take that right knee in line with the hip, shins parallel to the mat, left ankle onto that right knee. Let that left knee get heavy onto that right ankle. Inhale, get tall once again. Exhale, bow. So don't forget, you can always have something in between the knee and the ankle. These are very deep hip openers. And we linger here. One of the things that you can do is do these poses in a seated posture at your desk or on the sofa. And the only difference here is that instead of this leg being extended onto your mat, obviously if you were sitting in a chair, your leg is going to be onto the floor. Same thing. And again, you're opening up through those hips. Linger as long as you like. We're going to take it now to our backs. And the beauty here is that we want to make sure that the hips are starting to relax a bit. We take the knees towards the chest. We're going to take the feet towards the heavens, coming into happy baby. Now, if reaching for the arches of your feet is too much, again, you've got that strap. It's a lovely extension for the arms. So we're going to start to roll from side to side, and that starts off with a nice back massage for you. And then we can start to extend through one leg as we drop the other knee towards the mat. So again, just a little bit of a break in between. And this is nice for your back. You're going to see this stretch again when we spend time opening up through the lower back. And then coming back to center. We're going to come up into a crescent lunge, but a low crescent lunge. So we're going to keep the left knee on the mat. We're going to take that right ankle underneath that right knee. Interlace your fingers on the shins. If you have problems with balance, you can use your blocks as little stilts alongside the body to help with that. We're going to root down through that left knee, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone and gently encourage that leg forward. We're opening up through the front of that left hip flexor here. So again, you're going to linger here for a little bit longer. Hold here. And release that. Now if you want to get into your hamstrings, you can take that right foot forward, heel into the mat, toes to the shin, and then send that right hip back. So you're opening up again through the glutes, through the hamstrings. You can take this a little deeper if you want, right down to the splits if that's available to you. Choice is yours. And again, whatever we do on one side, we make sure we do on the other. So you're going to linger a little bit longer in these poses. So again, nice and stacked, knee above the ankle. Root down through that right knee, interlace your fingers on that left thigh, float the hips forward, and really root down through that right knee. You'll find that opening coming up into the front of that right hip. Again, lingering here. And then if you want to take that hamstring stretch, once again, left foot's going to come forward, heel into the mat, toes to the shin. Send those hips back as we bow over that leg. Or again, option to take it into the splits. That's it for this session. Hopefully there's a couple of poses that resonate with you to help open up your hips. Stay tuned for more classes. Namaste.